What is up, guys? Nero here from Nero MMA, and welcome to this week's technique breakdown. In this week's technique breakdown, we're going to be focusing on the right hook or the rear hook for you southpaws out there. We're going to be breaking down the basic fundamentals of the strike because there are 1,000 different variations to how you can throw this and how you can apply this in sparring and in fighting. But today we're just going to break down the fundamentals of the way that I throw the technique and the way that I teach the rear hook. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight to the technique. All right, guys, so the right hook or the rear hook is a technique that a lot of people don't encourage using because it can open you up to straight shots and counters. But I believe that, as with everything else, it depends on when you use it and how you apply the technique in the right moment. So the first thing that I want you guys to do is I want you to get into your fighting stance. Whatever fighting stance feels natural to you guys. I like to keep my weight distributed around 50-50 on each leg. And then I like to drop down because this is a power shot and I don't want you standing tall when you throw power shots. Get into your fighting stance and get your guard up. Now the first thing that I want you to know about the right hook is that it's a circular strike. So it comes around your opponent's guard and it's supposed to hit the jawline or behind the ear. The power of the right hook comes from your base and from your hip. The arm is just an extension of your hip. The strike starts from the feet up. You turn your body, turn your hip, and from there your arm comes up and around and connects to the side of your opponent's head. Your wrist, your elbow, and your shoulder should be in a parallel line like this. Your elbow should not be pointing too far up or be too low because I want you to have a good structure behind your punch so that when you connect with the right hook, I want your full body to be behind it. Because if your elbow is too far up, you're gonna lose power because the power is gonna go up. It's gonna follow the elbow. So keep your elbow behind your wrist when you connect. Turn your hip, turn your body, and from here, loop around and connect with the right hook. Start with your feet, then come with your hip, and then come around with the arm. One thing that I like to remember is I want my elbow to be bent at 90 degrees because I get the most structure out of the strike when it connects. So from your fighting stance, you throw it like this. So if you see it from the side, it looks like this. I got my fake imaginary opponent in front of me and I come around with my shot. And notice that I'm coming up on the ball of my foot on my rear leg. And this brings my hip with me, and then my right hook loops around and connects. Now, one thing that really made a difference for me and really improved my punching speed and almost doubled the power of my right hook is don't be stiff in your shoulder when you throw it. Think of it as this. Think of your shoulder as being a chain link with a stiff, solid piece of metal attached to it. You want to visualize that your arm is solid metal and then your shoulder is nice and relaxed. You want to pop the right hook in. You don't want to just force it. You might have some force, but it's going to be more of a push than a sharp, stinging strike. Now, the way that I throw it with a bit more snap and pop to it is I start turning my body, and then right before the point of impact, I twist and I pop the right hook in there. You want your shoulder to be nice and relaxed. Now, something that I get asked a lot is, do I punch with my thumb pointing toward me or do I punch like I'm holding a cup? Horizontal fist versus a vertical fist. Whatever feels the best for you guys, do it. Me personally, I like to keep my fist turned horizontal like this because what that does for me is, since I'm fighting in MMA and not boxing, the distance is a bit further in MMA. The further away I am from my opponent, the more I like to turn my fist horizontally like this. When I'm throwing a hook, I'm actually aiming for my index and my middle knuckle to hit the opponent. Now, with small MMA gloves in fights, when you connect with those two front knuckles, you can easily cut the opponent up. I want to cut my opponent and I want to inflict damage. And to me, it just makes more sense that all that force that you generate with your body is concentrated on these two knuckles because it's a sharp point and your whole body mass is behind it. So when you dig into your opponent's ugly head, boom, connect with those two front knuckles and hopefully you'll see some swelling or some cuts forming. Alright guys, that was all for this week. That was my right hook breakdown. The way that I throw the right hook and the way that I've been throwing it in both sparring, on the pads, on the bag, and also the way that I've been throwing it in fights. As always guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up. Let me know in the comment box below guys, do you throw the hook with your thumb pointing towards you or up against the ceiling? Horizontal or vertical? As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next week.